So I want to start by asking about WWE 2K25. It's officially coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, so now even more WWE fans and gamers can enjoy it. They can do it on the go. What do you think it says about this game and maybe WWE as a whole right now that WWE 2K25 is still at the forefront of the discussion in the gaming world months after its release at this point?
I think that there's two reasons for that. Number one, as you know, it's the highest rated game in franchise history, and rightfully so. And that ties into the second point, which is I hosted the game. And besides being on the cover with Roman Reigns and elevating Roman Reigns' star power on the cover of the game, just the fact that I hosted the entire game, which has never been done before, which led to the greatest reviews in franchise history, if not in all video game history. I think it says a lot about Paul Heyman's contributions to this game as to the longevity of the game and why months after its release, it's still a headline-grabbing video game, especially now that it's moving on to Nintendo Switch.
I cannot disagree with that. One of the biggest draws...
Why would you disagree?
I never would.
Another person would disagree. I'm a wise man. I'm an oracle. I'm an advocate. I'm a special counsel. Why would anyone ever disagree with me?
I certainly wouldn't. You're an idol of mine, so I 100% agree. One of the biggest draws of WWE 2K25, as you mentioned, the showcase mode focused on the bloodline. Obviously, you've parted ways with Roman Reigns since the game was released, but what does it mean to you to have played a pivotal role in some of the successes of the Anoa'i family and to have that immortalized in WWE 2K25?
I would suggest that this video game accurately captures the relationship between the tribal chief Roman Reigns and his wise man Paul Heyman when the relationship was at its height. Even though Roman Reigns had lost the Undisputed Championship by the time we did this video game, the presentation of Roman Reigns and his wise man was still running very, very strong. What I love about the game now is that you're not stuck with Paul Heyman being at the side of Roman Reigns. You can put Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. You can put Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. You can put Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns. You can even have Paul Heyman come and smash Roman Reigns, which I think would be a fitting end to the relationship as well. So that's what I really like about the game the most. Just me personally, is that you're not stuck in a certain time capsule, an encapsulation of the moment that was released. Update as smashing Roman Reigns and anyone that chooses to be around him.
The Bloodline Showcase mode allows gamers to relive some of the most legendary moments in the history of the Bloodline and the Anoa'i family. I was wondering, is there a favorite moment that stands out to you with regard to the Anoa'i family, whether you were involved or not?
Roman Reigns stacking Edge and Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania, which was the most declaratively definitive finish in the history of a main event of WrestleMania. It was the first show that WWE put on in front of a live crowd after the pandemic. So there were so many emotions going into that show. It almost got rained out, which, just would have been a catastrophe. And yet the rain subsided, the clouds cleared, the heavens opened up for the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, and no one thought that they would see such a shocking ending to WrestleMania as the villainous tribal chief stacks his two top-rated former world champion opponents on top of each other, and moment, I think in my heart I knew, wow, what a fitting conclusion to this WrestleMania, and what a moment coming out of the pandemic to stamp Roman Reigns as the THEE, capitals and bold, the star in this industry for this generation.
You shocked the wrestling world at WrestleMania 41 when you chose to align yourself with Seth Rollins rather than Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Given the enormous success you had alongside Roman and Punk in the past, what factors do you think made it the right decision for you to try something new and to begin working with Seth?
Well, it's not just working with Seth, it's also working with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. So if you look at a trajectory for the future of this entire industry, it's Seth Rollins' time. And Seth Rollins, as a lawyer would say, Seth Rollins made the case. CM Punk declares himself to be my best friend and put me in a situation that guaranteed would sabotage my relationship with my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And then there's my tribal chief, Roman Reigns, whose side I stood by through thick and thin, who wouldn't accept the fact that I was going to simply enable my best friend in the world to live out his childhood dream of main eventing WrestleMania. So I think Roman Reigns and CM Punk both put themselves in position to be abandoned by their wise man, and Seth Rollins made the case of being the most appreciative superstar in WWE history, and along with that, it enabled me to recruit Braun Breaker, whose name I mentioned during my Hall of Fame speech a year earlier as a next big star, if not, to quote my time with Brock Lesnar, the next big thing in this entire industry. And then you have the addition of Bronson Reed, who was an underutilized and underappreciated monster on the roster, and you put us all together, and I dare say it eclipses the bloodline.
Well, Seth Rollins injured his knee at Saturday night's main event. There's a great deal of uncertainty regarding his potential timeline to return right now. For as long as he's out, how big of an adverse effect do you think that has on the WWE product? And how do you and WWE as a whole go about compensating for that?
I don't think there's anything to compensate for. I would actually suggest that this adds a level of intrigue to WWE, because there is nothing, at least to me, as exciting as anticipation. Mm-hmm. And the anticipation now is the clock is ticking and the race is on, because Seth Rollins has until next June to cash in the Money in the Bank contract. That's a long time to go. I am absolutely 100% confident, to the point where I can say it's not just a prediction, it's a spoiler. I would even go as far, now that I'm an oracle, to say it's not just a prediction or a spoiler, it's a prophecy that Seth Rollins will be back by next June, no matter what. If his leg fell off, he'd be back by next June, and to cash in the Money in the Bank contract. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just enjoying the anticipation of when he can come back, and when he does, how it will completely change the dynamic of WWE. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, LFG, it doesn't matter. Evolve even. The entire industry will change when Seth Rollins comes back. And even if it's on deadline next June, it will still be a complete shift of focus of the entire industry, because that's what Seth Rollins' trajectory is.
This past Monday Night on Raw, there was a very clear focus on Bron Breakker and his role as a future world champion, a future WrestleMania main eventer. I think everyone recognizes his potential to be an all-time great, but for you, what characteristics do you feel set him apart from maybe some of the legends that you've worked with over the years?
It's not that it sets Bron Breakker apart from them. It's that Bron Breakker can elevate himself to that rarefied air. I worked with Mark Calloway before he was The Undertaker, and always knew he was going to be a top star with great longevity. I worked with Steve Austin before he was Stone Cold. I worked with Brock Lesnar when he was the next big thing, and then the next big thing had arrived and conquered The Undertaker's undefeated streak and was a multi-time champion and a UFC heavyweight champion. Worked with CM Punk in the midst of his 434 days as WWE champion. The 5 years that Roman Reigns and I worked together on camera, let alone all the time that we worked with each other behind the scenes. These are very rare athletes. These are very rare performers. And the thousands of other performers in the industry can't breathe that rarefied air that these gentlemen get a chance to enjoy, because they are that uniquely and talented. Bron Breakker is in that group. Now it's up to Bron Breakker to separate himself from that group, to take the industry even higher, to accomplish more than they have, to draw more revenue, drive the stock higher, bring more viewers over to Netflix, sell more video games and other related merchandise and licenses. And if Bron Breakker can do that, and I have every reason to believe that he can and that he will, you're looking at the man that's going to main event multi-WrestleManias past WrestleMania 50. He is exactly where Roman Reigns was when The Shield debuted. He is looked at by the audience as the muscle of the group, when the fact of the matter is, Bron Breakker is the biggest star in this industry. The industry just hasn't figured that out yet.
I'll ask you one more question here. Roman Reigns made his long-awaited return to WWE on Monday night's episode of Raw. Had a confrontation with Bron Breakker. Kind of feels like an inevitability that we're going to get a match or a rivalry with those two at some point, whether it's SummerSlam, further down the line. As a wrestling historian, is there anything you can compare that potential rivalry to? And can you articulate how big you think it might be for WWE and the wrestling business as a whole when it does happen?
I think Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker will set box office records around the world. I think Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed will set box office records around the world. I think Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, when Seth Rollins comes back from his leg injury, will set box office records around the world. It just, who's going to be up first? Can Roman Reigns survive that match? If he does, and then it's, if Bron Breakker is first, will Roman Reigns survive that to actually have a match with Bronson Reed? I think that I'd rather look back on it than look forward to it, because looking forward to it, I already see it, because that's what an oracle does. I think if you look back on this in the future, you will see that Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker is a historic match, because Bron Breakker teaches Roman Reigns how to deliver a proper spear. Okay,
there you have it. Mr. Heyman, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it, and I wish you all the best moving forward.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.